If you know that sound, you know what's coming next. That is the roar of pure, unadulterated firepower. It's a 7-barrel Gatling gun, spinning at an impossible speed, spitting out about 65 rounds of 30mm armor-piercing shells every single second. It is the sound of the GAU-8 Avenger, the cannon that the A-10 Thunderbolt EI, better known as the Warthog, was literally built around. For decades, this aircraft has been the undisputed king of close air support. A flying tank designed to protect troops on the ground and obliterate enemy armor. In the volatile waters of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, Houthi rebels have used sophisticated missile launchers to disrupt global trade and threaten naval forces. Employing cunning hit-and-run tactics from the rugged terrain of Yemen, this has created a complex problem that requires a very specific and very brutal solution. While official reports confirm that U.S. strikes in the region have been carried out by platforms like the F-18 and naval assets, it begs the question, what would happen if America's most feared ground attack aircraft was unleashed on these elusive targets? This isn't a report of a confirmed deployment, but a deep dive into a hypothetical scenario that military strategists have undoubtedly considered. What would it look like if the A-10 Warthog went hunting for Houthi missile launchers? To really get why the A-10 would be the perfect weapon for this fight, you first have to understand the threat. The Houthis have turned the vital shipping lanes of the Red Sea into a shooting gallery, using a variety of anti-ship missiles, many hidden on mobile launchers. They've become a persistent menace. These aren't amateur-hour operations. Houthi forces have mastered the art of shoot-and-scoot warfare. They use Yemen's rugged mountains and dense urban areas to hide their assets. A mobile missile launcher can be rolled out from a concealed spot, fire its weapon, and then melt back into hiding, often before conventional jets can even get a lock. This creates an incredibly difficult targeting problem. The window to strike is often just minutes long. A billion-dollar destroyer or a high-flying, fast-moving jet might see a launch, but by the time they can respond, the launcher itself has vanished. These are fleeting targets, a deadly game of hide and seek where the stakes are global security and human lives. The Houthis have shown patience and precision, proving they can strike with surprising accuracy. This tactical reality has forced a search for a more persistent, more terrifying solution, a predator that can not only strike, but stalk its prey, and that is where the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt comes in. The Warthog isn't a sleek, high-tech marvel of the 21st century. It's not a stealth fighter. It isn't designed for dogfighting at 50,000 feet. The A-10 is a product of brutal, practical engineering, born from the lessons of the Vietnam War, where pilots needed a plane that could get low, fly slow, and take a serious beating. Everything about the A-10 is built for one job: close air support. Its straight wings let it fly at incredibly low speeds and altitudes, giving its pilots time to actually see and engage targets on the ground. This is a plane that can loiter with its large fuel capacity. An A-10 can patrol a target area for over an hour, patiently waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. This is the perfect counter to the Houthis' shoot-and-scoot tactics. While a fast jet gets one pass, the Warthog can hang around, becoming a constant, menacing presence in the sky. But its greatest asset is its survivability. A-10 pilots fly into battle surrounded by a 1,200-pound titanium bathtub that protects them, and the flight controls from ground fire up to 23mm in caliber. Its engines are mounted high on the fuselage, shielding them from ground-based heat-seeking missiles. Its flight controls are double redundant. With a mechanical backup, the A-10 is designed to take a beating and keep flying. There are countless stories of Warthogs returning to base riddled with holes, with one engine out and half a wing gone. This toughness isn't for show. It's a tactical necessity, letting pilots press the attack where other planes would be forced to run. This flying fortress is the solution, but the key to its lethality is bolted into its nose. You can't talk about the A-10 without talking about the GAU-8 Avenger. In fact, it's more accurate to say the A-10 is just a delivery system for the gun. The GAU-8 is so massive that the entire aircraft was designed around it. The complete weapon system, fully loaded, weighs 0 to 9 pounds 1,828 kilograms, about as much as a small car. When a maintenance crew works on the cannon, they have to put a jack under the plane's tail to keep it from tipping over. It's a 7-barrel, hydraulically driven Gatling cannon that fires colossal 30mm rounds. The stats behind this thing are just insane. The GAU-8 has a fixed firing rate of 3,900 rounds per minute, which works out to about 65 rounds a second. Pilots don't pull the trigger for long, usually just 1 or 2 second bursts to save ammo and keep the barrels from overheating. But in that single second, over 60 projectiles have left the muzzle, each traveling at nearly 3,400 feet per second. The A-10's ammo drum holds about 1,150 of these massive shells. The most common round is the PU-14B armor-piercing incendiary. Each of these projectiles has a core made of depleted uranium, a material 2.5 times denser than steel. When this dense penetrator hits armor, it self-sharpens as it punches through, and the friction creates so much heat that it ignites the incendiary material, causing catastrophic damage inside the target. This isn't just punching a hole. It's violent, explosive obliteration. The force this weapon generates is immense. The recoil from the GAU-8 is a staggering 10 0.000 pounds force, which is actually more thrust than one of the A-10's own TF-34 engines produces. This incredible power required a unique design. The cannon is mounted slightly off-center, and the front landing gear is offset to the side to make room for it. Despite this raw power, the GAU-8 is remarkably accurate. At a range of 4,000 feet, 80% of the rounds will hit inside a 40-foot circle. This precision allows a pilot to focus the devastating firepower right where it needs to go. It's the perfect tool for surgically removing a threat. So, let's put it all together. Let's run a hypothetical, but totally plausible scenario. The date is notionally April 1, 2025. High above the deserts of Yemen, a U.S. surveillance aircraft intercepts a faint electronic signal. A Houthi missile launcher's targeting radar just lit up. Intelligence suggests a launch is imminent. The window to act is under 20 minutes, a high-altitude fighter is too far, and a ship-launched missile is too slow. The call goes out. At Al Dhafra Air Base, 2 A-10 Warthogs are scrambled. Their pilots, already on alert, sprint to their jets. Within minutes, they're thundering down the runway, engines roaring as they push toward their top speed of 420 miles per hour. They don't fly high, they stay low, using the curve of the Earth to mask their approach. Inside the cockpit, it's tense but focused. The lead pilot gets updated coordinates. He punches the data into his systems and activates the AN-OC-28 lightning targeting pod. This advanced sensor can spot and track a vehicle from over 25 miles away, day or night. On his screen, a grainy infrared image appears. He zooms in. And there it is, a truck-mounted missile system, partially hidden under camo netting near some rocks. The crew is moving fast. The A-10s descend, rolling in for the attack. Now just 4 miles out, the Houthi crew, maybe hearing the faint, growing whine of the Warthog's engines, looks to the sky, but it's too late. The lead pilot designates the launcher with his targeting pod, getting a solid lock. His finger rests on the trigger. He is in the pipe, flying straight at his target. One last correction. He squeezes the trigger for just over half a second. The world erupts. The iconic bird echoes through the canyons, a sound so terrifying it's been known to make enemy soldiers surrender on the spot. It's a physical event. The entire aircraft shudders as the cannon unleashes its fury. In that half second, a stream of nearly 50 depleted uranium shells has slammed into the target at over 3,000 feet per second. The result is instantaneous and catastrophic. The kinetic energy alone tears the launcher from its chassis. The penetrators slice through the truck's engine block, the missile's fuel tank, and the control vehicle like they're made of cardboard. A massive secondary explosion follows as the missile's own propellant cooks off in a brilliant fireball. The truck, the missile, and its operators aren't just destroyed. They are utterly obliterated. Reduced to a smoldering crater of twisted metal, the second A-10 circles high, confirming the kill. The threat is neutralized. The entire engagement, from trigger pull to destruction, lasted less than 5 seconds. In our hypothetical, the mission is a success. But the real impact of using the A-10 goes way beyond one smoking crater. The Warthog's true power lies in its psychological and tactical dominance. After a few engagements like this, Houthi tactics would have to change. The knowledge that a patient hunter could be loitering overhead unheard for over an hour would sow paranoia and fear. Gunners who once operated with impunity, thinking they could hide after the shot, would now know that the second they reveal themselves, the Warthog could be on them. There are reports from past conflicts of enemy gunners abandoning their weapons and fleeing at the mere sight of an A-10 on the horizon. The sound of the GAU-8 isn't just a weapon firing. It's the sound of impending doom. The Warthog's ability to operate in this environment is unmatched. Its titanium armor would let it shrug off small arms fire that would cripple other aircraft, allowing pilots to get low and visually confirm their targets. This prevents mistakes and ensures that when the Avenger speaks, it's always at the right address. In this hypothetical campaign, deploying A-10s would systematically dismantle the Houthi mobile missile capability. What started as a single strike on April 1st would become a sustained operation. Imagine the effect by late 2025. In this scenario, Warthog operations could lead to dozens of destroyed missile systems. The constant threat of an A-10 overhead would disrupt their command and control, forcing them to move less and communicate less, grinding their operations to a halt. The shoot and scoot tactic becomes a shoot and die reality. International shipping in the Red Sea would be secure again, not by a single lucky shot, but by systematically eradicating the threat at its source. Okay, let's pull back from our what if and crash back down to the reality of November 2025. As of today, there have been no credible, public reports from U.S. Central Command confirming the deployment of A-10s to Yemen or their use against Houthi targets. The strikes that have happened were conducted by other capable assets. Our engagement was a realistic demonstration of how the A-10's unique capabilities would be applied, not a report of an actual event. This brings us to the great ongoing debate in the Pentagon, the future of the A-10 Warthog. For years, the Air Force has talked about retiring the aging fleet, arguing it's too slow and vulnerable for a modern battlefield against an enemy with sophisticated air defenses. They say multi-role fighters like the F-35 can do the job. On the other side are the A-10's fierce defenders, the ground troops who've been saved by it, the pilots who fly it, And the strategists who argue that for certain conflicts, there is simply no substitute in a low-threat environment where the enemy lacks advanced air defenses, exactly like the situation in Yemen. The A-10 isn't just viable. It's ideal, its ability to loiter, its heavy armor, and the sheer, overwhelming firepower of the GAU-8 Avenger provides something no other aircraft can replicate. The A-10 isn't meant for a high-tech war with a major power. It's meant for the gritty, dirty work of hunting insurgents, tanks, and mobile missile launchers in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and hypothetically, Yemen. The A-10 Warthog remains an icon for a reason. It's a testament to a design philosophy that puts function over form, lethality over speed, and survivability over everything else, while its GAU-8 Avenger can unleash a firestorm. The true power of the Warthog lies in its persistence. It is the airborne predator that can watch, wait, and then strike with unmatched ferocity, ensuring that for those who threaten our forces and allies on the ground, there is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. The scenario of A-10s over Yemen proves that even decades after its first flight, this incredible machine remains uniquely suited for some of the world's toughest conflicts. Whether it will ever be called upon for such a mission remains to be seen. What do you think? Is the A-10 Warthog still a necessary tool in modern warfare, or is its time coming to an end? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this look at one of history's greatest aircraft, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video.